Let's get sweaty.
My guest on the dojo today brings a wealth of anime experience to the table, having starred in several different anime such as Food Wars, Alice in Borderland, Haikyuu, and more. More recently, however, he has appeared in Shenmue the Animation as one of our favourite characters from Shenmue 1. My guest today on the dojo is the voice of Guizhang Chen, Jeremy G. Jeremy, welcome to the dojo on this Sunday. How's it going?
Doing really, really well. Thank you for having me. Really excited to get on here and chat a little bit about Shenmue.
As am I very much. I'm glad to get you on today. But before we sort of go into the Shenmue talk, I'd like to sort of ask how you got into the voiceover industry and how you started working on anime itself.
Yeah, absolutely. So starting off, I didn't pursue a voice acting career. I did stage work first. Did some theater in high school. Thought I liked that. And then decided to major in musical theater at Sam Houston State up in Huntsville. And while I was there, I actually met a really good friend of mine, Bryson Bogus, who had just been starting off in his voice acting career. Landed a pretty big role with in Haikyuu, and he was like, "Hey, they're looking for some extra guys," and they asked me if I knew anyone that was interested. Is it cool if I give them your info? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. I would love that. Because I mean, as a kid, it was always like a cool thought, like, oh, I want to be a cartoon character so bad. That sounds so cool. So I was able to go in. They called me in after Bryson gave them my info, and I wasn't sure what to expect. He's like, hey, I don't know what character you are. Or if you are a character, it's probably just gonna be Wallace stuff. And I was like, cool. I'll do anything. But actually, they tried me for a part, Yahaba from Alo Josai, if there's any fans out there listening. And it went well enough for them to call me in to do a few more things. And it just snowballed from there. And I've been doing fairly well with it since then.
Fantastic. It's a very similar story to Joe Daniels, actually. So do you know Joe as well? Because I had him on the show a few weeks back.
Joe and me, we've been friends since we met in college. I actually just played D&D with him not 2 nights ago. Yeah, me, Bryson, and Joe, we run in the same circle. We're part of the same friend group. Two really, really good friends of mine.
Ah, brilliant. Okay, okie doke. Thanks. I know Bryson's currently Wong in the anime and doing a very good job as Wong, actually, from the episode I've seen. I haven't seen the newest episode yet. I'm going in blind on that one tonight. Before we go sort of into Shenmue again, can you sort of list off some of your favourite animes that you've worked on, notable animes that you've worked on, characters, etc.?
Yeah, let's see. I started obviously with Haikyuu. That was my first anime. Played Yahaba and then later voiced Akashi Keiji later on. I also have done some Food Wars. I was one of the judges in the second plate, Sayatome, and he came back in the third plate as well. And the fifth plate, I think, I'll be back for the fifth plate coming up. And then I was in a little bit of Getter Robo arc. Then Shikizakura that just came out. Shikizakura, I was Rio. Vinland Saga, I played Gunnar, and then I also got my first lead role in an anime. I was Arisu in Alice in Borderlands. That was a really cool one. And then also Gintama. I was in Gintama the final recently.
Fantastic. And have you got any particular favourite characters out of those ones you've listed?
Yeah, Arisu in Alice in Borderland has to be my favorite I've ever recorded. It was three ovas, just 3 quick episodes, so like an hour's worth of content total. But it was my first lead character, and I won't say too much about the show for anyone that's hasn't seen it or is interested in seeing it. But I got to play best friends. My character's best friend was played by Joe Daniels. Actually, it was just really cool to work so closely with Joe on that one, and it's just a really great. I think it's a great show. 3 quick episodes, and it's a roller coaster from the beginning. And I get a lot of emotional screaming moments, and I really love getting loud in the booth. I like to scream and all the yelly bits. So it was a lot of fun. And then, of course, I also love Akashi from Haikyuu. People out there on Twitter and just at a con I went to, just being so happy with the work I did with him and loving the character. So he holds a special place in my heart as well.
Brilliant. Thank you for that. Now, coming into Shenmue, obviously it was a video game before an anime. Had you heard of Shenmue at all before this anime was announced?
I actually had not. They said they called me and they're like, "Hey, we want you to read for this show based off a video game, Shenmue," and I was like, "Oh, cool! I have no idea what it's about going in, but I'll read for just about anything." So then I got the background on the game, but no, up in before the animation, I had no idea it existed.
Okay, cool. And I mean that's fair enough. Are you a gamer at all by any chance, or is it not really your thing?
Sure. I mean, I would not call myself a gamer. I do enjoy playing video games, but it's not. I don't branch out very much. I'm pretty much Nintendo through and through. Super Smash
Oh, good
Brothers,
shout, good shout.
that sort of thing. Yeah, but I do try. I am trying to branch out a bit more with my gaming when there's time, but not nothing too crazy yet.
Fair enough, nothing too crazy yet, but Smash Bros is a good starting point. And very addictive, that game. Very addictive.
I say I'm not a gamer, but the amount of hours I have in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, that might say otherwise, but it's pretty much only that one game, that or Pokemon.
Oh, Pokemon. Now that's a throwback. Oh, you're taking me back to my childhood there.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right, I'll cut the Pokemon talk there because I could go on about it for hours, and my listeners sure are not too bothered about
Absolutely.
Pokemon too much here. So you touched on this a little bit in your previous answer. Could you talk me through sort of how you got to audition for Guizhang and Shenmue itself?
Yeah, absolutely. I was already at Sentai recording. I believe I was recording Shikizakura at the time, but I got done with that session and I walked out to leave, and Joey stopped me. He said, "Hey, you are you in a hurry? Do you have to rush out?" I was like, "No, what's up?" He asked me if I had time or if I could read for a show he's doing,
Yeah.
and I said, "Sure." And he took me in there and he said, "It's Shinmu. Do you know what that is?" And I was like, "Nope." So I actually read for a different character first. They recorded it. They said, "We'll let you know." Called me back in and said, "We actually want to read you for this other character." It was Guizhang. Um, and we found the voice that worked was just a slight difference from my regular voice. He said, "All right, we'll see what they say. Let's send it in, see." And then they let me know eventually that I got that part and that we'd be recording in the coming weeks. So the audition process was pretty standard. I say pretty standard. I think that's the first time I've been called in for a different character after audition. I don't know, but yeah, that was it. Was they called me into audition for one, didn't get that one, but they liked me for this one, so it all worked out in the end.
Yeah, absolutely. And your work on Guizhang obviously is out there now and it's excellent. So thank you for giving us an insight into that. And do you remember sort of any of the character brief you were given for Guizhang, your part, or is that a bit hazy?
The only thing I can really remember there is just that this guy means business. He's very straight like he thinks this way, and he doesn't really veer off from that. Very serious guy. His relationship with his dad is kind of interesting. But other than that, that's about all it was. And they, of course, they gave me going into each scene because like obviously I didn't know the entire show, but going into each scene they would break down like, hey, this is what's going on. Uh, this is the situation they're in, and gave me a couple things to play with and try, and we knocked it out.
Excellent. And how long were you in the studio for recording your parts, roughly?
I think it couldn't have been 3-ish hours, probably like 3 hours. I remember it being not a short session, but not a super. Didn't take too much time. And then of course we did pickups later for certain pronunciations of words and a couple line rewrites. But so total probably maybe like 5-ish hours, 5-6 hours.
Not too bad then in terms of timings. Was that all? Was that sort of, obviously the pickups were done separately, but was your first session done all together? Was it broken down?
We did uh, all my episodes were done. I think we did all my episodes just right there at the same time. Went through each one, but as far as like recording it, it was just me, myself, the director, and our sound engineer. There was no like any other actors present. We had the recordings of the other voice actors that have been in there and already recorded that you could go off of. But there were also times where they hadn't recorded, so I just got the original voice, and then I would just go off of that with my time codes or anything like that. So yeah, it was just me in there. Sometimes, again, we would have the voices, and sometimes you just
Okay, so part of recording, obviously, your character Guizhang's quite, and this is a follow up to sort of my original question as well. Um, One thing I've always wondered is how difficult is it to shoot the fighting scenes with all the sort of the fighting sounds that he makes, the grunts, the impacts that he makes with his moves, etc. Was that how difficult was that to do?
I don't know if I would call it difficult. I think personally, I think it's a lot of fun doing those fight scenes, being able to, you know, you obviously you get direction, you get like it would say like clenched teeth, grunt, or sometimes you just get things that say like action sounds or something like that. Um, so you try to you're watching the animation while you're recording, so you have things to go off of, and it's okay if you're a little bit off of the hit because the engineer in there is so quick, is so they're so good at what they do. They can move the sound so quickly to make it match up with the animation. So really, that part I think can be easier than recording the dialogue because it's just you're not worried about reading lines. You're just worried about like you playing. It's playing in the booth. It's acting like you're getting physical. Like I get physical with it. I act like I'm kind of like fighting too to get the right kind of sound sometimes. But I think I have so much fun doing those fight sounds. So uh, long story short, I say not. I think it's easier than recording dialogue. Really.
Thank you. That's just a personal interest of mine because I have no idea, so I just wondered. Um, Going into sort of Guizhang's character a little bit. Obviously, you say he's super serious. I think one of the favourite lines he says to Rio is, "You don't understand the gravity of your situation," just as Rio and Guizhang have a fight. What particular character traits did you like about him?
Let's see. I do like that. I do like the serious nature of him. I do like that he's determined to like do what he set out to do. Um, I it's weird because like Jeremy, I'm nothing like I'm very relaxed. I'm laid
Yeah.
back, very easygoing. Where he seems more uptight. But the thing is, it's all to win his father's praise. He wants his father to acknowledge him, right?
Yes.
So, I mean, I I like that about him. But sometimes I'm just kind of like, hey man, just chill out. Like, coming from the way I see things, I'm just like, just chill out, man. Everything's gonna be okay. So we are different in that way, but we also live two very different lives. I'm not getting in fights with giant, strong dudes all the time. I'm an actor, so I guess there's a good reason why we are two very different types of people.
Yeah, very, very true. And he is very serious. Although I think towards the end of that stretch of the anime, I think he lightens up a little bit. He warms. to Rio a little bit more. His character changed a little bit. Was that fair to say?
Oh, absolutely. I think Rio has a good effect on him, talking about his relationship with his own father, and you see a softer side of the character whenever uh, Rio shares more about his story. Um, and then there's that great scene right there on like the dock whenever they're talking, and Rio thanks him, and
Yes.
then he says no something. I don't remember exactly, but something along the lines like "No, thank you." And then it sucks whenever uh, not to spoil if people haven't seen, but I guess they would have seen if they're listening. The It sucks because he's supposed to go with him, and then that little guy went and broke my leg, so I didn't get to go. So that sucks. Uh, but no, it was definitely some quick character growth in those couple episodes, and I think it was really cool.
Brilliant. Thank you for that. And sort of talking about the recording time you had in the studio, were there any particular moments from recording that sort of stand out for you as particular favourites?
Yeah, I loved the. I'm gonna talk about it, and not even be able to think of what the attack was called. Whenever we were the whatever that kick was, the swan dive or the swan something.
Oh, Swallow Dive.
Yeah, Swan. That recording Swan Dive was so much fun because like for me as a little kid, I loved watching cartoons. I loved like action cartoons, things like that. And whenever they had uh, certain moves that are named, like in Dragon Ball Z, watching Dragon Ball Z
Oh
as a
yeah.
kid, and they would Kamehameha, like yell whatever move they're using. I was like, man, that's so cool. And then I got to like yell a move that my character had. So much fun to have a signature move.
And it's a very well put together scene, that actually, and a nice twist on the games. Very well done, where they just brush the kick in front of each other. I love that. It's very well put together, and you actually think,
Yeah,
certainly from the previous episode preview, they actually looks like they take each other out. So it's very cleverly shot, I thought. So superb. Loved it. Loved that particular scene. Okay, so you've been in the studio, you've recorded, the show airs. What were your sort of feelings before the show went out in terms of what sort of reaction you hope to get from it?
I I had no idea the following that this show is going to have because I didn't know the games had
Yeah,
such a following. I had no idea. So being on Twitter and seeing like people talking about Shenmue the animation's coming. I was like, oh, this is awesome. I didn't know it was going to get this much attention. And then I think I was talking to Joe about it, and he's like, yeah, dude, this is like people like this is like a thing that's been around for a long time. Like people are going to be excited about it. I was like, oh, that's so awesome. So being able to just like learn more about like what the show is and where it came from has been really awesome, and just seeing all the fans take to it so well has been um, such a relief because it was so much like it is such a for fans of Shinmu, you're so used to what the voices in the game sounded
yeah.
like. So it was like, I hope we can do it justice because we would hate to disappoint this huge fan base. And it's good. So it's good to see people are taking a liking to it.
So, did the following of Shenmue and sort of the reaction of the fan base, which was universally positive, take you by surprise once the anime had actually aired?
I'm not sure it was a surprise. I think I don't want to speak for all voice actors, but I know for me and a few of my voice actor friends, you record and then you leave the booth and you think. Uh, I mean, I do. It's just like, man, I know I could have done. You start thinking like, oh, I could have done this instead. What if I'd have done this? You think you start picking your recording apart. But in the long run, it all comes out. It all comes out well. But for this one, being able to hear whenever I was recording, I got to hear bits of other people in the scene, and I said, and I knew I was like, man, doing really, really well. I got to bring it. I got to make. I don't want to. I would hate to disappoint this fan base. And after the recording, I remember leaving, being like, okay, I think I did it justice. We'll see. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. So maybe not surprised, but maybe more of just like a really nice relief to know, like, okay, you were right. It was fine. Don't need to worry about it anymore.
Brilliant, and I can safely say that the fan base were very, very pleased with how things have come out, and I'd like to take this opportunity to say thank you on behalf of the Shenmue community for the excellent job you did with Guizhang, because he is one of the favourite characters in the Shenmue series, so you did a cracking job with him. So thank you very much on that part.
I appreciate you saying that, and thank you all for taking to it so nicely.
Super. Now, my next question is a follow up and is a bit hopeful in the hope we get a season 2. Would you want to come back to Shenmue if offered the opportunity?
Oh, absolutely. I would love to. I don't know what happens. I haven't played the games, so if it's based on the games, I wouldn't know what happens. I don't know if my character comes back, but if he doesn't, and they need someone to voice a different character, I would be more than happy to do so. I've loved being getting to dip my toe into the Shenmue community, and hopefully can stay in it or get in there in a different character.
Thank you for that, and I'd like to say that hopefully we can get you back into the Shenmue community one way or another, be it through season 2, through either Guizhang coming back or maybe a new character. But I want to move away a little bit from Shenmue. Can you talk me through some of the other projects you're working on that you're allowed to talk about? Because I don't want to get you in trouble.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, those NDAs. You got to watch out for those.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, exactly. We just announced the cast for. I say we. I didn't do anything. They just dropped a cast list for season 4 of the Haikyuu dub. So that's really exciting. We recorded that a while back, and we've been sitting on that, waiting to talk about it, as well as the 5th plate of Food Wars. They just announced that. I will be back a little bit for that one. Recorded that a little while ago. There are a couple things I would love to talk about, but unfortunately cannot just yet. So nothing super exciting right now, but announcements to come for sure.
Brilliant, thank you, and I appreciate. Obviously, you're under an NDA, so we'll leave that question there for now, I think.
Absolutely, I do appreciate that.
My last question is: do you have sort of a closing message for the Shenmue community to sign us off?
Yeah, absolutely. I do truly just want to thank everyone of the Shenmue community, the support you've given all of us for the work we put into Shenmue the animation means so much. I'm very, very happy that we were able to bring the animation to life in a positive way. And thank you for your continued support. And yeah, that's it.
Brilliant. Thank you, Jeremy, for taking the time out of your day to join me on the dojo this afternoon. Thank you to all the listeners who regularly tune into this podcast. I hope you're enjoying the content that we're putting out. Don't forget to give us a like, subscribe over on YouTube, Spotify, and all over social media. And I will be back with another interview in the coming weeks.